Why do
okay.
drag queens and drag kings want to read children's books to children so badly anyways?
There's multiple ways you could approach this question. I think the easiest it's I have to admit it's not something I've really done direct observation of. So I'm speaking with some distance here. But my hypothesis is that this isn't actually something done by or promoted by drag people or LGBT or whatever you want to call them. This is something promoted by more or less heteronormative, quote unquote. And I don't say quote unquote to call their supposed heterosexuality into question. I say this in quotes to challenge the entire concept of sexuality as an object choice sort of deal. But it's something kind of like a white guilt or like a heteronormative guilt or whatever, of this sort of socially Marxist cultural, I know people don't like this term, but culturally Marxist way of thinking that it's a guilt complex that is mostly like white moms, soccer moms who are organizing these things, funding these things, and bringing their children to these things as a sort of religious way to expiate guilt, sort of like confession. So I don't think it's actually something promoted by queer people. It's, as usual, it's white. This is where I kind of agree with the liberals, although this kind of works against their whole point. It's a taste of their own medicine, but it's mostly white people imperializing spaces that aren't theirs, and trying, it's Rudyard Kipling's white man's burden, coming in and like, oh, we have to help the queers. We have to adjust to their society. So they're bringing all their children in there and trying to help the queers out, but the queers were only the best and the strongest when they were on the edge, and when they were sort of, maybe oppressed is too strong of a word, but when they were marginalized and they weren't brought into the normalization of this everyday space. And the white non-queer people want to normalize everything and imperialize everything. So they're trying to bring up a generation that's just more or less part and parcel of that. So there's no longer any actual division or line or demarcation between drag people or queer people and everyone else. Everything just becomes monopolized, categorized, and shifted as a gray blob in capitalism.